How much of this would you put down to a lack of understanding of history? That is, in our own part of the world, a lot of people don't read. A lot of those who read for the purpose of passing exams and getting certificates. Once that's done, they're no longer interested. So most of the time you have the vast part of the population not able to look back, see that this has happened before, seeing the result, and therefore upon seeing something similar about to happen again are able to say, hey, hold on. We've seen this before, something you referred to as deja vu earlier. Mm-hmm. How much, because I've spoken to a couple of people who have said, there's a nexus between our lack of literacy, our lack of understanding of history, and where we are as a country. That because no country grows beyond the education or the literacy of its people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, it's interesting that you use the word history. I hear many people just either do not know history or do not understand the purpose of history. And then there's a different group also who are very selective about history. They know how to distort or misuse history. Take, for instance, when this incursion of the Fulani herdsmen began, and the Mayeti Allah, their spokesman, said in Borno, I think it was in Borno, said, we once ruled this place, and we can take back our land anytime we want. Remember that statement? I've forgotten it. In the midst of the harrowing, the trauma of these people, somebody comes gloating and then citing selective portion of history. That man was a criminal, and I said it at the time. I said, this person should be arrested and locked up. Who says he wants to repeat this history of conquest? He's actually doing it. He's admitting either knowledge before, after, or support anyway. And I ask the question, so why are you, isn't there anything like hate speech anymore? Why are you proscribing IPOB without proscribing Mayeti Allah? Whose spokesman dares approve the killing, the dispossession of people? Who's choking off our breadbasket, at least one of the directions of the feeding of this nation, chasing farmers of the nation, creating a situation of food scarcity, one of the biggest security threats you can launch against any people, either internally or internally. So that's also a way of knowing history, but disowning history, because you only take a small portion, you disown the rest of it. It doesn't exist. Again, if I may cite Putin, the same thing Putin saying to the Ukrainians, you are once part of us. We have a right to continue to dominate you anytime and to take you back anytime we want. What kind of human beings will accept that? Ukrainians are proving themselves one of the most courageous people at the moment. But it's interesting that you should raise the issue of history, because I would like to use every opportunity to ask, who was it that actually terminated the teaching of history in schools? Do you know that many of us didn't know for a long time that history was no longer being taught in schools? It was only a casual statement by Fashola at one time, I remember. I had to phone him. I said, wait a minute. I heard you said something the other day. Are you sure you have your facts right? He said, go and check. The history has been removed from the school curriculum. Now, those who removed that, they weren't fools. When I made inquiries, they said, oh, there were not enough teachers. Absolute balderdash. I mean, it was an insulting kind of excuse. No, they just did not want history to be taught, especially contemporary history. They didn't want people to know and learn from our recent history. Things that led up to the Civil War, the conduct of the military during the Civil War. And they're just cutting their noses to spite their faces, because there were also positive aspects. There were certain lessons learned here and there, from that episode. Even the attitude